The 90s brought with it a new challenge for the Church of Scientology in the form of the Internet.
The Internet has been a disaster for Scientology. Netizens, or people who spend a lot of time on the net, have a particular Wild West attitude towards the First Amendment. They believe in freedom of speech, and any attempt to circumvent their freedom of speech is resisted.
Anti-Scientology websites have sprouted up, giving a louder voice to Scientology's dissident community.
I just call them liars. I call them liars from every different angle.
Ehrlich and others began denouncing Scientology and its founder.
They were on the news group making false representations, lying, and I just pointed it out in very graphic terms that they were lying. And when proof was required, I quoted to give them the proof.
Ex-Scientologists also began disseminating the mysterious OT3, an advanced level in Scientology that is said to trace the source of man's pain to over 70 million years ago.
I think it's really irresponsible. It happens to be confidential material. And people, when they get to that level, they read and see that material. And it's placed at that level for a reason.
Whenever something goes wrong in terms of public relations, it's called, in Hubbard speak, it's called a PR flap. This is the granddaddy of PR flaps.
The church wasted no time in getting their attorneys on the case.
This is simply a matter of property rights being protected. It is not a freedom of the press issue. It is not a news gathering issue. It is not a freedom of speech issue.
Everybody has documents and things they don't want to be seen, and, you know, which is proprietary information. Everybody wants that. Why do the Scientologists go after people who attack them? I think they do feel, and they've acquired over the years, a siege mentality. And they've been under a certain amount of siege.
In 1995, the Church of Scientology, assisted by U.S. Marshals, raided the homes of 3 of its harshest detractors. Arnaldo Lerma caught the raid of his home on video. Church officials confiscated materials relating to Scientology on the grounds that the copywritten works were being exploited on the net.
No court order permitting you to be the substitute custodian for this search and seizure?
If you want to see the court order, you can.
They went through my house, cupboard by cupboard. They went through my computer, file by file. They copied whatever they wanted off of my computer. They copied my hard disk. They deleted whatever they wanted off my hard disk. They packed up books that belonged to me and to other people. 7 hours later, after going through and photographing everything in my house, looking in every closet, cupboard, drawer, they packed up and left.
Are you here with the Church of Scientology?
No comment.
No comment? What authority do you have to be taking these records?
Do you think it's okay for him to steal property?
Ehrlich and others claimed their rights have been violated.
So Scientology has ensured protection of its market share by suppressing speech. Because the more speech there is, the less successful Scientology is going to be.
They are really their own worst enemy. They are the ones that make the critics. Then they force the critics to become enemies, and then these people become lifelong warriors, and they fulfill their own conspiracy theories by creating enemies, by their treatment of people.
I believe that on the internet, freedom of speech is a primary, and the more that we let fascistic, totalistic groups like Scientology erode our rights, the less of this fantastic new medium, the less it's going to mean.
The cry that these people give in justification is, the internet is an anarchy, we're anarchists, you can't stop us, so therefore, by trying to enforce the law, somehow that gets translated into, you're trying to stamp out free speech.
I think it's curious the way the Church of Scientology is attacked for harassing its critics or for trying to silence its critics. But the Church of Scientology also has a right to freedom of speech. They want to make the record straight and say what their position is, and they have the same right to do that as their critics do.
A religion has no more and no less right than anyone else to copyright material and to protect it from infringement. I think it's a kind of strange position for a religion to take, saying we have message that will save your soul and make you better, but you may not read it unless you pay me.
Such incidents got the attention of those outside the Scientology debate.
I first became aware of the Church of Scientology when I read an electronic Freedom Foundation newsletter in January of '95, which indicated that the Church of Scientology had tried to close an internet news group, which was a haven for critics of Scientology.
Minton quickly became involved in the anti-Scientology movement, spending almost $2 million to fund ex-members litigating against the church.
Scientologists are given filtering software to allow them to go on the internet because they do not want Scientologists to be subjected to critical information.
You're dissuaded from contact with the outside world, reading papers, watching television, whatever it is. You might see something that is upsetting. If it's upsetting, you might need to get a session or go to ethics.
Minton has recently come under investigation by Scientology for his activities.
He was attacked, and the more he was attacked, the more he got involved.
He's a freak. He's a media freak. He is an animal of the media. He knows nothing about Scientology. He doesn't have a clue. He's never been in a Church of Scientology until I invited him in to sit down and talk to him to see if I could find out what his beef was.
They have hate, basically, at the core of this cult, masquerading in the form of love.
Scientology detractors hope that leaking secret materials on the web will discourage church membership.
The internet will be to Scientology what Vietnam was to the United States. It's going to be a battle that they can't win.
The trade secrets that they're trying to protect, all that science fiction, space opera stuff at the end of the road, it's already on the hard drives of millions of people. In other words, the cat's out of the bag. So anybody that cares to investigate this organization are just a few keystrokes away from finding the truth, and it's out there.
While those opposed to Scientology are busy recounting their stories on the internet, the church continues the intense effort to tell its story. When we return, a mission the Scientologists say will save the world.